Today, you guys are in for an absolute treat. I'm going to discuss how Piers Morgan fundamentally interviewed Andrew Tate very differently to Cristiano Ronaldo and why that matters to you and the key lessons to take from that. Before making any analysis of people, I always look at one simple question. And this question is applicable to pretty much any scenario, any person, okay? And that's, what is this person's agenda? What is this person trying to achieve by performing such an action? So with that question in mind, let's ask ourselves, what is Piers Morgan's agenda? He has a show on YouTube, he has a channel on YouTube, he's been on TV for years and years. And what do all three of those things involve? Views and attention. Views and attention. Of course, look, his YouTube channel is called Uncensored with Piers Morgan or what have you, right? Something to that effect, okay? Now, at the time when Piers first interviewed Tate, Tate had just been cancelled by pretty much all the different social media networks. But here was Piers with his Uncensored channel saying, Tate, love to have you on the show, okay? So, of course, Tate went on the show, and here's where it gets interesting. Because again, it brings us back to that question, which is, what's Piers' agenda here? It's about views. So he knew that Tate, being the most Googled man on the planet and everything else, is guaranteed views. Guaranteed views, okay? Now, quite frankly, I don't think that Piers Morgan respected Tate for what he actually is, okay? He thought he was probably just the next internet sensation, internet idiot, the next fucking Hasbullah, World Stone Raider.
If you want some, I'll give it you.
Cash me outside, girl.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Yeah, like the next internet guy. Come along, 3 months of fame, get the views, off he goes. But of course, Tate has shown himself to be more than that. And so yeah, with Tate, he kept trying to force Tate through clever nuance. Of course, Piers Morgan's been in the game for many, many years. He knows his way around an interview, yeah. And again, his agenda is getting views. So he kept trying to push Tate down holes and down avenues that he really had no business being there, okay? But of course, you know, Tate handled it really well and he didn't fall for any of those traps. And he, of course, didn't fall for the ruse of trying to say something completely sensational. Because as much as he's done that on the internet, he's doing that on purpose. You have to understand, Tate's a smart guy. He's not just blabbing along and just saying random things. He's saying random things on camera deliberately, yeah, to gather attention, deliberately playing the game, the attention economy, the attention game, okay? He's not stupid, right? That's what he thought Tate was, someone just to say some nonsense on his channel, perfect, get views, say some controversial stuff, great, get views, done, okay? So that is why Piers kept interrupting Tate. That is why he kept asking him completely random and completely unnecessary questions that didn't have anything to do with anything. Why? Because he was trying to get Tate to say something completely sensational and completely ridiculous that would, of course, be controversial, get all over the news, and fundamentally fulfill his agenda, which is to get views and attention. Now, let's compare that Tate interview to the Ronaldo interview. No footballer in pretty much the history of football has ever done an interview like what Cristiano Ronaldo did with Piers Morgan, okay? It was so, against the grain, in fact, the Man United actually cancelled his contract, right? And is mutual, whatever else, but look, we all know the score, okay? And listen, I love Ronaldo, he's top guy, most disciplined dude, great inspiration, certainly lives life by his own design, and certainly lives his boss edge. Now, look, Ronaldo being the most followed person on the entirety of Instagram, yeah, by definition, fulfills Piers Morgan's agenda. He brings views. So even if it was just a talk show, normal chit-chat interview, it would have already brought views because it's Ronaldo, okay? Never mind that it was this highly controversial, highly explicit, highly open interview where he spoke very without filter about pretty much everything. He really aired the laundry of what's happening at Man United, what's happening with him and everything else, and really expressed how he felt. So, of course, why on earth would Piers Morgan start interrupting him? He doesn't respect Ronaldo. He thinks he's the greatest player of all time. And by definition of him being there, he's getting views. So of course he didn't interrupt Ronaldo like he interrupted Tate, because he fundamentally, at that time at least, didn't respect Tate for what he actually is. He thought he was the next, internet fad, as we've said. And Ronaldo's bloody Ronaldo, 15, 20 years deep at the top level in football. One of the best of all time, okay? So by definition of him being there, Ronaldo was fulfilling Piers Morgan's agenda of getting views. And all Piers Morgan really had to do was just keep the interview going. I think they probably planned questions beforehand. I mean, it certainly looked that way. And yeah, just keep it moving, let it happen, and ta-da, views, okay? And again, more, building his audience for his Uncensored channel. That was on the back of the Tate interview and everything else, okay? So again, he interviews Ronaldo very differently to how he interviewed Andrew Tate. So the key learning point in all of this analysis is that I very much encourage you that whenever you're in an interaction, be it business or personal or otherwise, right? Ask yourself what the other person or the other people around you, what is their agenda? Are they trying to advance their career? Are they trying to do a business deal? Are they looking for an investment? Are they looking for a friend? Okay. What is that person's agenda? You have to consider that. Agenda is not a bad thing. Yeah, they could want to save the world. They could want to really help you. They could want to invest in your business. They could want any manner of things. An agenda is not a bad thing. It has a negative connotation. It's not a bad thing. It's just by asking what someone's agenda is, you're kind of asking, what is it this person wants? Be it from me or the situation, okay? What is this person's agenda? And again, you know, Ronaldo or even probably Tate in hindsight was very thankful in the end, even if Tate did get interrupted every 2 minutes and everything else, that both people were probably grateful that Piers Morgan's out here trying to get views because, of course, it boosts their own audiences. At the end of the day, both Ronaldo and Tate both have their own agendas. They themselves have agendas. Tate, by doing the podcast rounds as he always does, again, playing the attention game, knows how to get attention, and of course that's a funnel for business purposes and everything else, okay, and to grow his own audience. And Ronaldo fulfilled his agenda. He didn't need to build an audience, he's already got an audience. He wanted to get out of Man United. I feel that was his agenda, was to say everything he said, knowing full well you don't do that as a professional footballer, certainly not one that's currently active and playing for your current club, you know, with contracts and legal ramifications and things like that, okay. But he thought, look, I'm Ronaldo, I could do what I want. And yeah, quite frankly, he fulfilled his agenda, didn't he? Because now he's no longer part of Man United. So look, all parties fulfilled their agendas in the end. Yep. Piers got his with getting views. Ronaldo got his by getting out of Man United and being controversial in that regard. And Tate fulfilled his agenda of getting views. In fact, the way he handled himself stood really well with public reception of it. His notoriety and profile grow even more, despite Piers trying to cut him down and again being quite disingenuous about where he was steering the conversation. And again, with subsequent interviews with Tate and Piers, if they have any more interviews or if they speak again, I can guarantee you that Piers will speak to Tate with a lot more respect. He won't interrupt him because guess what? He's not really the latest internet fad. The guy's legit, he's got the skills, he understands the game, he's very smart, and therefore, again, he's not just going to disappear like that, even if you tried to cancel him. And so again, the key learning point is to really ask yourself in conversation with other people, in whatever the scenario. It could even be a girlfriend. You think, what's her agenda? She might want to get married and have kids. Well, if that's not your agenda and that's not what you want to do, you should think very carefully about that, okay? And ask yourself, well, where is this going? Because it's either going my way or her way. Making compromises generally leads to discontent, okay? So, but say for example, your wife or your girlfriend or your fiance, they want children and to get married and everything else, and that's exactly what you want. Oh, well, perfect. That's alignment. Again, what's your parents' agenda? Your parents' agenda, they just want to see you happy, safe and sound, okay? So if you're talking about taking a big risk or making a business decision and things like that, well, they're probably not the best people to ask because they just want to see you safe and sound. So you leaving your job and exposing yourself to financial downside and financial destruction, well, they're probably not going to be so in favor of that because they just want to see you safe and sound. That doesn't mean that's a bad thing. Okay, again, as I said, agendas aren't necessarily negative. Great springboard here with the situation we had with Piers Morgan and Andrew Tate's interview and comparing that to Ronaldo and Piers Morgan's interview and really seeing the difference. And again, it highlighted that key learning point, which is always assess what is people's agendas when you're speaking to them, okay? What is people's agendas? Doesn't always have to be bad, but what is their agenda? What are they after? What's their motive in being there, in speaking to you, in how they're speaking to you, etc., okay? So thanks guys, subscribe to the channel, helps a lot. And obviously look, if you want to keep getting more amazing content, sharp minds, we're building a massive community here. We're building a very loyal subscriber base, and eventually we're going to be doing meetups around the world. We're going to be hitting it big. We're going to be bringing a gathering of the minds together. So look, subscribe, watch the channel grow, be a part of the movement, get involved. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video guys. Seymour here, peace out.